Always doctors are confused about sodium, potassium, acid base metabolism and what bottle, what fluid to be given at what time. SIDH, syndrome of inappropriate ADH excretion, means the ADH excretion is much more due to some small cell lung carcinoma or in brain hemorrhage, brain tumors, brain infections, and that way a lot of ADH is produced from the hypothalamus, which is being stored in posterior pituitary, and then its main function is to keep the osmolarity of serum normal. But once these infections occur, the ADH is much more. Now what ADH will do, it will retain water in the collecting tube of the kidney. Once it will retain water, sodium is not being retained. Sodium is that much only. The sodium level will fall. Normal level of sodium is 135 to 145. That is the thing. Now osmolarity of serum is 280 to 350 and this much is normal. If osmolarity of serum is falling down and osmolarity of urine is rising, that is from 20 to 40, it means more concentrated urine is being, and once urine is low, we think that some kidney problem is there, and we do the osmolarity and or the serum creatinine level, that will tell that it is normal. Kidneys are normal, thyroid are normal, adrenals are normal. So this is SIADH, most important, and we lose patients like anything. In that case, we have to restrict the fluids up to 1 liter per day, give 3% sodium chloride slowly, so that not more than 10 milliequivalent is increased per hour. That is the thing. Or you can give Vaptins or furosemide to excrete. Now what happens if sodium level increases? If sodium will increase, what natural? Aldosterone is more. It is keeping, once aldosterone is more, hypertension will also occur. Or thyroxine is more, then again hypertension will occur. But in this case, in SIADH, the tension will be normal. Now in diabetes insipidus, what happens is ADH is less, so that more and more of fluid is passing, not sodium is passing. Diabetes insipidus, lot of water is passing in the urine. So with the result, you are dehydrated, but your blood pressure is normal. Similarly, ADH is more, you are overweight, but there is no edema. There is blood pressure is normal. Suppose edema is there, then you go to renal causes, heart causes, or liver failure causes, or thyroid causes. These are the things. Now, potassium level is 3.5 to 5.5. If it rises, potassium level, what it will do? It will increase PR interval, and then the T wave will become very peaked, tall T waves. That is again, patient is going to die. And suppose it is less hypopotassiemia, again U wave will appear. T will become less and then U will come. And at times T may be absent. But QT will be much more. So what you have to do, normally we give oral potassium, but sometimes in very severe cases we have to give IV. Slow, not more than 1 ampule in a bottle, to be given in 1 to 5 hours, like that. The sodium, potassium high, potassium low. The most important thing is acid base, 0.35 to 0.45. That is the only difference is 0.10. Suppose acidosis is there, lot of this hydrogen will go inside the cells and lot of potassium will come out, so potassium will rise. In alkalosis, lot of hydrogen will come, alkalosis में lot of hydrogen will come from the cells and lot of potassium will go in, so hypopotassiemia happens. So what happens whenever there is high potassium, the membrane is not stable. To stabilize the membrane, we have to give calcium gluconate injection, IV. Lot of practitioners, even RMPs, are giving calcium gluconate IV injection and patients are getting well. This stabilizes. Soda bicarb we give, that will only correct the acidosis, but it will not stabilize. After that, first giving calcium gluconate, after that we give dextrose drip and insulin. That will take the dextrose inside the cell, with insulin it will go, and along with it, it will take the potassium also in the cells. So this is all about sodium, potassium, bicarbonate, H ions and potassium main. Thank you.